Hello, Narnach here. Welcome back to Path of Exile. The last episode we managed to get to Act 4 and we cleared out the dried lake. We defeated Vol. And I said something about running talismans in the stone circles in the dried lake. So for the past couple of hours I've actually been doing that. And I've made some pretty good progress. So if you remember, I split my talismans into 3 tabs and have the level 1 or the tier 1s in the top left. I split them by level, so this is below level 40, this is 40 to 50 and this is 50 plus. And you might notice that there's a lot less tier 1 talismans here than before, and that's because I converted most of them into tier 2 talismans. So running the dried lake and just taking a full working set of tier 1 talismans along with you is an excellent way of getting rid of talismans and converting them into level 2s. And I've actually been applying a little bit of a trick to upgrade the level of the talismans. Or more specifically, I combined some high level tier 1s and some low level tier 1s to create a almost high level tier talisman of level 2. So these are tier 2 talismans that I've equipped for the occasion. And you see this one has an item level of 49, 49, 43, 38, 38. No wait, that's still the same. And the lowest one is 10. So in this case, if you add them all up, because the lowest level is only counted once and the highest one is counted 3 times, the average actually skews a bit upwards. Most of the time I've been running around with 3 talismans that were around level 50, maybe slightly above it because that's what I've been finding, and 2 talismans of around level 20 on average. Could be a 10 and a 30, could be 2 20s, doesn't really matter all that much. And that resulted in most of the talismans running around level 40. So what I figured I'd run a couple of dried lakes and we will do a couple of the tier 2 talismans and see what I convert into on tier 3. Also, I'm level 63 now, so last time I was 59, so I gained a couple of levels. And I basically went for Arcane Focus, which is a pretty good one to go for since it gives you a massive boost in energy shield. Also, I think I completed Sniper, not quite sure what I was going for. And I got this dual socket that has 25% increased spell damage. I think I did that last time. So this is the tree currently. And life is good. Okay, well, let's go. So if you are repeatedly running something, you can control click on the entrance to any level, with the exception of town, because that doesn't really matter a lot. You can do it, but it doesn't really matter, to create a new instance. So otherwise you have to wait 8 minutes for an instance to expire. This way you can just keep running and running and running. Let's refresh the golem. So most of the time in my runs I do more or less full clears. This is a pretty good area to run. Always make sure I go for Mr. Vol, because he is the boss here. So, and he tends to drop some rares. On average, I think this area contains about 2 talisman monsters. So you spend 5, you get 1 tier 2, but you also tend to find 2 or 3 tier 1 talismans in return. So it's a pretty decent way of sustaining your pool of lower tier talismans as well, which actually does help with the upgrading. Because if you're running around this level 55 area, most of the talisman monsters are in a blue or yellow. So the talisman they drop are level 56 or 57. Also, stop puncturing me. Very much appreciate that. Thank you. So what's it? Staunching flask that removes bleeding is pretty good against these big zombies. Especially if you have a rare or something, they do more damage. So It's very good to stop the bleeding in time. Also, every once in a while the avian wretches spawn, those birds that eat corpses and spit them back at you. Then that's why I have the bone offering. It's very good here for those times when the level spawns. And for the rest, just be careful. Walk around slowly, don't rush too much. Also, guys, I mean, the Contagion Essence Drain is a very safe build, but you should not do reckless things. That's speaking from experience here. A couple times I saw Forici spawn here, and well, me being me, I don't really want to leave a quest undone when I don't have to, especially if he spawns early on. Then you still have to clear the entire map, so most of the time you are going to find your target. But he's been starting to spawn some very creative missions. So one of the missions I had to keep the target alive, and the target had a treasure chest that I needed to loot. So we need to bypass the target, basically enter into their camp, so to say, and then do something with the treasure chest. And actually I couldn't do anything with the treasure chest, which was even more annoying. But keeping the target alive basically means you're not really gonna start casting all that much. The camp also spawned with another rare in it, and that was a near-death situation. I got out, but it was not a very pleasant situation. Another time I needed to kill the target and keep at least one guard alive, and the target that spawned was the exile, or the rogue exile, that spawns totems. Hello there, Mr. Vol. Also, Vol, normally he doesn't really hurt a lot. You definitely want to put these vile skeletons in his face. I think I'm actually just going to recommend any build you have. If you don't have vile skeletons with you, your build is not complete. Especially on hardcore. Vile skeletons offers you so much security because you get up to upwards of 30 distractions that you can throw at enemies. That's I don't care about you. You want vile skeletons, boss fights like that, but also for talismans, for strong boxes. Vile skeletons is the skill that gives you safety. But I was talking about the exile that spawns totems. He also has a massive amount of damage output, especially if you're trying not to kill his minions. That means there's going to be a lot more fire against you because you have to bypass minions, maneuver yourself in a way that you can get a clear shot with essence drain at your target without upsetting too many minions. So most of the time that means there's going to be 10 plus minions shooting at you while you face the boss. And let's just say that's not a very good situation to be in. Again, near-death situation. And I think my health bubble went down to about a quarter back then in that fight. That's not something I can recommend. So be very, very, very careful. Elvion is actually a pretty nice one to do. Kill these things. I can deal with that. This is actually one that's pretty much up my alley. So we killed Vol. We actually had a master spawn. Oh yeah, also Nightwane, guaranteed boss here, or more or less a guaranteed boss. You're never quite sure if you're shooting his minions or not, but once one of them drops loot, you know the other ones are copies, because copies don't drop loot. And as I said, I just tend to work my way around the edges. It's 9 times out of 10 that's bound to let you go by Vol. you will find them that way. And otherwise, the inner circle of the map that you haven't explored yet is not going to be too large. So now all we have to do is find a stone circle. And well, situations like this where there's 2 rares fighting you, not uncommon. Also, I was gonna stop picking up things with 15 or less %. So, just to have something to filter on. But all in all, I really like running this place. I'm surprised actually. I mean, normally I really don't like grinding areas, but there's enough random variation in the maps that get generated, in the encounters you have, in the fights you face. Sometimes you get like 2 or 3 talismans, but on different monsters with different configurations. I actually encountered a bone spire or 2. They always creep me out because they actually they hurt. Bone spires still hurt. And also, sometimes if you have different monster configurations, that means you have to pay attention to different things. All in all, it's not as mindless as normally grinding would be. Also, I was bleeding there, didn't notice until my energy shield was gone. This is a very good way to... this allows you to sharpen your reflexes a little bit. Because there's no strict need. I mean, currently I'm 8 levels above the area. I mean, I'm kind of mostly done with the grinding this area, but I wanted to do it for the combination of XP and getting more talismans. But it does force you to play a bit better. And I spotted the stone circle. So also always what I do is about a screen around the stone circle, just clear it. That way there are not going to be any uninvited guests. I mean, the last thing you want is a random rare to drop in. Especially if the random rare happens to have something like monsters cannot die. That's kind of annoying. So, always double check before you do anything with it. Do you have your Vaal summoned skeletons at the ready? If you don't, run around, kill more, then get back when it's at the ready. So, then I'm just gonna grab the first set. 5 different ones, they're all tier 2, so tier 3 is gonna be summoned. Step away, wither totem up, start summoning Vaal skeletons, and move further away. And then just contagion, essence drain, and skirt around the edges. Okay, that's not good. Something is hurting a lot there. So, as I said, you really want to be careful. So what is that? Is that the same guy? Oh, this is another one. Glimmering tree rats. So this was one of these cobra things. But it hurt. I mean, my energy shield disappeared and it's over 1,000 now. So, well, that was fun. Scary, but fun. So at this point, now you could finish up. I mean, I haven't explored the last edge, so you could just follow the edge back to the start. That's a nice thing of sticking to the edges, because sooner or later you're gonna end up back where you started, and you can just walk into town. In this case, I'm just gonna take a shortcut, and I'm gonna go to town.
What do you want?
And then let's see. We identify the rares, sell them, and let's see. What's the rare we got actually? 14% increased attributes and +6 maximum energy shield.
Go where you are needed.
Ah, that's not combat. And the level is 39. So That's not quite bad, considering that the input wasn't actually very high. Okay, I've got some currency, I can sell that, or stash that away. And I got a tab dedicated to just stuff that needs to be sorted through, and I've been gathering stuff for a couple of runs now. Also got 3 items currently that I'm working on as projects to upgrade. I mean, they are in various stages of being done. This one I just need more chaos orbs to reroll, because it's kind of utter garbage, but the base is decent. And the other 2, this one I just need to get the colors right. I want 3 blues, and so far I've blown over 20 of the chromatic orbs and still hasn't worked. Probably should have gone with the master, but that's hindsight for you. Okay, so another run for the next one. And you just take off again. And if you are confident, you could, start skipping some monsters. You could leave some stragglers behind. It depends on how obsessed you are with full clears versus how confident you are with just leaving some things behind. If clear speed is something that you value, then obviously you want to keep a couple of things alive and only just focus on killing packs. Ambusher boots. Okay, I already got a set of those that I'm upgrading, and these are full green. So definitely not an upgrade. So I really don't like it when monsters are spread out like this, since then you can't really benefit from Contagion's reach. Let's see. So these are the guys where you can just explode corpses for. The avian wretches. So if they can't eat corpses, they can't spit at you. Here, boom. A lot of these guys are actually spreading out today. I think it's because there's not really of any of the small skittering monsters. Normally those are the ones that they come in with the dozens. These guys, yeah, the dust grabbers. Okay, we have our Nightwane. And I think that was the real Nightwane. Yep. Elemental resistances, which actually doesn't really matter for me. Such a luxury that you don't really have to mind too much what rares have, because most of the mods don't really matter. Invention death is kind of annoying, but that's why his buddies die first. Okay, more there. It's also a pretty decent way to get currency. I've already found a couple of map upgrades, the chisels, even though I actually haven't found any maps yet, which is interesting. So I always thought that maps didn't start until late 60s, but this area is level 55, so those chisels start dropping 10 levels ahead of what they are supposed to drop. or where they're actually gonna be useful. So I'm kind of wondering what's up with that. Oh, this looks like there's a shrine nearby. Massive shrine. Oh, massive shrine is nice. It increases AoE. Also, there was a talisman mixed in between. So, look at the size of that contagion. Massive shrine boosts life, AoE, and your physical size. But that size on contagion, it's just it's awesome. False confession, so this is where the vault's gonna be. It's actually a nice way to clear out the arena. Also, if Vol manages to land a crit on you, that hurts. Normally he, at best he takes away 3/4 of your energy shield. Nothing really serious. But if he crits, then you also lose about half of your life, and he hits for almost 2000 points of damage rather than only 1000. So, if possible, avoid him. And once again, use the Vile Summons. They are a core part of the safety of this build, or any hardcore build, so to say. I mean, it's not a buff skill or anything, but having 30 bodies between you and whatever is trying to kill you definitely helps. I'm very curious to see how it's gonna help me in the later fights here in Act 4. Also, circle, we just walked past it. Hey, Vile Orb. Don't find those a lot. So the question now is what to do with the Vile Orb. And you can try to corrupt items to make them better, potentially rerolling them or wiping them. A bit of a double-edged sword. Another thing which you can do with it, hey, blood magic. Another thing you can do with it is apply it to summon skeletons in order to make Vile summon skeletons. Well, at least have a small chance. I think in 5 or 6 attempts I actually never managed to make it, but summon skeletons is pretty cheap these days, because you can actually buy it rather than that you need to find it. So, worth a consideration. Okay, so Vile summon skeletons is up again, which means we can do this. Okay, summon, get the hell out. What is happening here? Okay, so chimeras. Unbound arachnids. Okay, so there are invisible flamer hounds. Death Blossom again, so that's the same as before. Okay, so getting frozen, not a good thing. Very much not a good thing. Put the totem up as a decoy. Jeez. This hurts. We got it. Oh, it also got me way more times than I wanted to. This is an interesting fight, so to say. So, level 41. 7% increased quantity of items found and 10 intelligence. So that's what we risked our life for. All for that. But it was another run. Also, Golem. Oh. That's why I was taking so much damage in the end. I killed my Golem. it or whatever. So the loot, we got a tier 2 and we got one other talisman. So it's a bit of a meager loot. Then again, it's not a full clear yet. So if you're just trying to burn through, then if you're lucky you're gonna get one talisman. Otherwise on average it's gonna be 2. And Highgate again, back home. So, well, next episode I'm gonna go into the mines. But for this episode I figured I'd do something different from my usual runs and show you a bit about the grind. It's definitely a good way to just make sure that your character is a bit ahead of the curve. And in hardcore all those little bits they help. I mean, extra skill points allow you to get extra defensive points or extra damage, which all help with staying ahead of the monsters. So with that, I'm gonna thank you very much for watching and I hope to see you again next time. Bye bye.